So this tutorial is going to cover the knife tool, the multi-shift tool, and different things that might pop up whenever you're using the tools, just so that you can be aware of. Alright, first I'm going to start off by creating a disk. And the tool is under multiply, subdivide, knife. The shortcut is Shift K, Shift K, and you use it by left clicking and dragging across where you want to cut the polygons. Now, once you've done that, you can see, or press enter afterwards, once you've done that, you can see that the polygons have been split right down wherever the knife is. And an interesting feature about the tool is, while you're using it, you can cut across it, right click on one of the ends, drag, release, right click again, drag, and release, and it will cut every single time that you do this. You can do this with either end, and if you get it just right, you can click in the middle of the tool and actually move the entire cut up and down. However, that's a little bit finicky. It's kind of hard to grab. See there, it's been cut multiple times. And an useful feature of this tool is for adding more polygons whenever you want detail in an area. But there are some times that you just can't use knife to get the extra details that you're trying to go for because whatever you're using has a weird shape to it. Like, say, this face here. If I wanted to cut these band of polygons to get a little bit of extra detail, it's going to be really difficult for me to get knife in there because there's no real good place for it to fit. It'll end up cutting across somewhere eventually. So what we do instead is use a tool like Bandsaw Pro. Let's see here. Still under multiply. Bandsaw Pro. Once you click it, it should cut the loop that you have selected straight down the middle and cut the polygons in half for all of them, doubling the amount of polygons that you have. If it doesn't do that, click in and enable divide. And you can choose up, you can move the line up and down by moving this value function right here. See, the line goes up and down. To select an entire loop like that, you can either go in and select your entire thing holding left shift or middle mouse button going across, or there's a really easy button. If you select two polygons that are side by side, it can't be 3 and it can't be 1, and they have to be going with the loop that you want to select. You can't accidentally select like here, or it's going to try to select all these. Select two of them, click selection, select loop. It'll select the entire loop around it, which is very useful to use in conjunction with Bandsaw Pro or Knife, depending on different things that you're trying to do. So, with the knife tool, there are a few things you need to be aware of before you start using it. And always be aware of what you have selected when you're knifing, or if you have nothing selected at all. Because if nothing is selected, like I did with the disc thing, cylinder, you cut across it, it'll cut across every polygon in its path. It's also important to note which side you're cutting on. You need to know what view you're looking through and everything associated with that. You need to really get used to the concept of these 3 different views, and you never want to cut in the perspective mode. It's just not safe. I mean, you can, but it's really, really finicky and it just doesn't really work. It's better to cut in a straight orthographic view. So once you have that selected, it'll cut across it. But if you wanted to just cut one part of the box, like say, you can select a portion and it will only cut through what polygons are selected. So Shift K will cut through it against the top. And you'll see that even though it's going across these polygons, it's not cutting these here because only these 2 were selected. Now, when you do that, you might think that this polygon would actually end up becoming a 5-sided polygon with a point coming up there, but it doesn't. Since this is the only one that was selected, it actually just lies a point right on top of the edge of that box. So you lift it up and you can see they're not connected. This may be useful if you're trying to model a box or something, but in most cases, if you're modeling on a character, that's a really bad thing to have. Just this polygon lying on top of another one. So the only way to fix that, to connect these two, would be to have another point on this box. So we could do that by, again, cutting it there on this side, cutting across. Excuse me. And grabbing these 2 points and welding them together. That may be one solution to it, with Control W for weld. But now you have the exact same problem over on this side, and you can see this trend is going to constantly repeat if you tried to fix this one until you finished off the loop anyways. So you need to be careful that when you're cutting, if you want to avoid those sort of edges, then you're going to want to actually cut across an entire loop, which you can do with Bandsaw Pro or knife. And just ensure you know what you're cutting across, because it can end up in some weird sections on the end that you just don't want. Other than that, it's a really useful tool for adding in new features and just adding more detail to your existing mesh without having to go in and remake the entire thing. So that's it. I guess just leave any questions in the comment section, or what video you guys want me to do next, or if this was even helpful at all. Goodbye.